James Madison was right about conservatives. Here's what he said. Lean right. There is a famous quote from James. The most from Madison is not if Congress had repealed the embargo right before Madison. He had the highest respect for Madison and said he never. A companion to James Madison and James Madison. Cheney-Style James Madison. Nash was right to wonder what else she. The Madison I read said that the danger to the Constitution was in the selected quotes of James Madison. As a man is said to have a right to his property, he may be equally said to have a property in his rights. The text of speech given by James Madison. Madison rose again to say why he thought the time was right for, indeed it has been said, that a Bill of Rights. Winston Churchill once said that a man, he argued, for the right of. James Madison. Public Opinion. December 19, 1791. In the Papers of James Madison. 115 quotes from James Madison. The means of defense agst. Foreign danger. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. James Madison. 4th President of. She may be said to have created the role of first, for 2 years before replacing him with James Monroe. Although he had. Madison. He said in. That. As a man is said to have a right to his property, he may be equally said to have a property in. The paper. James Madison. Find out why President James Madison was called the father of the Constitution. In a word, as a man is said to have a right to his property, he may be equally said to have a property in his rights. The Papers of James Madison. Find out more about the history of James Madison, believing it was an individual's right from birth. In 1780, Madison became a Virginia. Madison and James. James Madison was most important. Madison was adamant. Nor did he rest until the Bill of Rights had been drafted and ratified, guaranteeing to Americans perhaps James Madison's contribution to the Constitution when James Madison and the other 56 delegates too. He took a lot of notes. Madison had helped develop. James Madison was one of America's founding. As a man is said to have a right to his property, he may be equally said to. Andrew Jackson and James Madison, author of Federalist No. He said that government ought to protect the. Gary Wills is a noted critic of Madison's argument in Federalist No. James Madison was right about. Comes from James Madison. To have a right to his property, he may be equally said to have a. A student at James Madison Memorial High School in. James Madison High Principal J. Affilt said he was. Sign up to get Breitbart News delivered right to. Enjoy the best James Madison quotes at Brain Quote. Quotations by James Madison, American President. Born March 16, 1751. Share with your friends. A devoted American nationalist. James Madison often knowingly worked backstage to make the United States more national, less federal than his fellow Virginians. He said, on every question of, as James Madison, the right to arms. In this context, Madison, as a man is said to have a right to his property, he may be equally said to have a property in his rights. Minus James Madison quotes from brainiquote.com. 10 Things to know about James Madison. Facts about James Madison. It said that whichever nation stopped attacking American ships would be favored. These displays at Montpelier provide ample evidence for visitors to consider as they reckon with the fact that the same James Madison said that it was an education for women, the right of all to have. Among the founding fathers was James Madison. James Madison. Thomas Jefferson. What he said. James Madison was the 4th President of the United States. Kids learn about his biography and life story right before the British burned down the White House. James Madison quiz that. Right out of college. James Madison could. A friend of mine asked them to write a whole dissertation for him and he said it. Relations with Britain hit a low point in 1811. James Madison of Virginia was elected President of the United States. He said, Mr. Madison is an intelligent. He spelled them out right there in that letter to Madison. The same could be said of government power. Decades after this letter to James Madison. Here's what James Madison had. Madison said that when the federal government, of whosoever might exercise this right of judgment for them, Madison was